Thank you very much, Ketambar, Mr. Jain, a very distinguished and leading business persons, developers from all over the country, particularly from the real estate sector, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. This is really a subject I should not be here on. I mean, I can only get galis from you for not getting power into the homes as quickly as it should. But I'm delighted to be here because it's a subject very dear to me. It's a subject I need to learn a lot more about when I make my plans for getting power to every home in the next 4 or 5 years. It'll be very important for me to learn from your real life examples, just like Gitambarji just mentioned. And it's a subject very dear to the Honorable Prime Minister and this government in our mission to provide housing for all by 2022. In fact, if you look at the statistics, urbanization has come to stay. In the last census of 2011, we found the increase in urban areas between 2001 and 2011 was about 9 crore people. 9 crore people got added to urban areas, whereas the increase in rural areas was less. For the first time in the history of independent India, the number of people added to urban India was more than the number of people added to rural India. And therein lies the story of urbanization. It's something which has come to stay. We have seen massive and rapid expansion of urban areas in other developing countries like China. And the aspirational class of India, the youth of India, are increasingly looking towards urban areas to meet their aspirations for a better quality of life, for jobs, for a future which is more secure and safe. And people want to move out of farms, people want to move out of rural areas. And very clearly, India's current plans of the last several years seem to fall short of the demands of urbanization. I remember a paper I had given to Mr. Vajpayee in June of 1999 when he was the Prime Minister. I had highlighted a similar need for expanding urban cities and had suggested that we should create 100 new urban areas across the country. This was in 99, so exactly 15 years ago. And he was very, very good about it. He was very keen to know more about it. And that's when we had sent Musaroli Maran, the then Commerce Minister, to China and Singapore in the erstwhile NDA government, to China and Singapore to study what they have done with their special economic zones. The idea that the then NDA government had was to create these enclaves which are development oriented, which have a unique identity of their own. And we were hopeful that the mad rush towards cities can be contained or regulated more towards these new urban agglomerations, rather than overburdening the Mumbais and Delhis of the world, which are already probably bursting at their seams. We made good progress. The SEZ concept was introduced. The SEZs in a planned manner, and the large format SEZs were what we were hoping to develop. Unfortunately, the party got out of power. And in the last few years, we have seen this mushrooming of SEZs, very often almost like a real estate play. And in that sense, we killed a very good concept. SEZs could have become harbingers of new urban agglomerates, new urban developments, which could have had an identity of their own. It could be the services sector, it could be manufacturing, it could be tourist centers, it could be centers of religious importance. Unfortunately, with a mad rush to approve SEZs, some 650, 680 SEZs got approved in the last 10 years. Along with that, the policy instability that we offered to SEZ investors. Obviously, with such mushrooming, there were allegations of corruption, there were allegations of misuse of policy for real estate play. And MAT was brought in, thereafter DDT was brought in. We almost killed the concept of SEZs in India. Similarly, when we talk of urbanization or we talk of smart cities or smart developments, the sad part is that the people or the stakeholders don't seem to be able to really understand. It's not just about bringing technology. It's not just about infrastructure or hard infrastructure. It will have to dovetail several components to make a place smart. To my mind, I still don't have a clear-cut definition of what is a smart city. And there cannot be a one-size-fits-all formula when you're planning better and better cities in the future. It will have to be planned for each area. What are the requirements? What are the USPs? What are the attractive reasons why each area will flourish? So if Pune emerges more and more as an automobile hub or a precision engineering hub, we'll have to recognize that strength of Pune, but we'll also have to have a more holistic development outlook. If you look back into history, Constantinople, Alexandria, even Varanasi were smart cities of their time. They started around one theme, Varanasi around religion, Constantinople was on the trading route. If you look into history, the cities which remained restricted to one USP have not flourished. They have, over a period of time, degraded into have-beens. What you need is a dynamism. You need an ecosystem which takes care of a person's lifestyle, which takes care of his health, education, entertainment. It's a composite human development that determines the success of any city, which is why Mumbai or Delhi, which have had more holistic developments over the years, have sustained, but Detroit has failed. With the failure of the auto industry, the whole city almost has collapsed or remained as a smaller has-been rather than a city which is flourishing and expanding. In that sense, India has the advantage of several places which can develop as smart cities, which can develop more holistically, whose ecosystem can be planned to change the dimensions of people's lives in those cities. I was talking to Getambar a few months ago, and he highlighted a very interesting phenomena which, in fact, opened my own eyes. Very often when we talk of affordable housing or low-cost housing, we tend to think vertical. We tend to think high-rise. We tend to believe that land is in shortage, so one will have to look at going tall. But unless you see the dynamics of the local population, unless you understand their psyche, what they want, it's impossible to plan for the future. I mean, a place in Nimrana or Rajasthan, the smaller industrial towns in Rajasthan that Getambar talked to me about, will not psychologically accept high rises. They want their small space, even if it's 100 square feet courtyard, angan, outside their home. That sense of a courtyard is required by them. You can't create something which is alien to their own historical perspective, the way they have lived, their culture, their tradition. You have to respect that, dovetail that into your plans, and then make a vibrant development which will be acceptable to the people, which will sell to the people. And in that sense, I'm very happy that both the government and persons such as you in CREDAI or other real estate bodies are working in close partnership to evolve models which are sustainable at the local level, which are energy efficient, which are efficient in terms of healthcare, education, the walkability or cyclability to jobs, all of those ingredients which one looks for in a so-called smart city or in a city which is evolving for the future, a city of the next century. I'm very glad that both government and policy makers and practical exponents or people who are in the industry are working together in partnership. There are several models which will have to be developed, several models which will make these vibrant areas of development. And in that sense, we in government are open to ideas. We are looking for your ideas. The demand, as I see going forward, is going to be humongous. I'll give you a small thought to ponder over or to deliberate over in the next few sessions. Look at the population growth between 1981 and 91. Those are the people who are currently in the age group 23 to 33. And you have about 16 crore people in that age group in India. These are the 16 crore neo-middle class, the emerging middle class, the people who have benefited from development in India over so many years in terms of education, in terms of exposure to the world, whether it is through television, whether it is through net, the revolution in the IT sector. Now, these 16 crore people are your customers for affordable housing in the next 10 years. The 23 to 33-year-olds are now going to be looking for housing of their own. And if you look at Singapore's own story, the rental story of Singapore completely failed. It collapsed when the Singapore government planned to make large developments to provide houses for their people, and in that created an infrastructure which centered around renting it at low cost. It didn't work because there was no ownership, there was no passion about that house, there was no sense of belonging. The repairs and maintenance was not kept well, people didn't really protect that property. And when they moved that to an ownership model, you today have in Singapore a lot of passion about home ownership. There's a lot of excitement about home ownership. And we need to create that, rekindle that into the Indian middle class, into the Indian youth. And these 16 crore people, ladies and gentlemen, I'm convinced are the home buyers in the next 10 years. And these 16 crore are looking for modern amenities. They will look for Wi-Fi. They will look for a good toilet. They will want a small kitchenette. They will want sanitation to be clean and drainage systems to be there. They want 24/7 power. They want those homes to have a little bit of entertainment element or luxury element, which many of you are providing in terms of common facilities or clubhouses or small mini theaters. They will want some green in their area for their children to play in. Composite, well thought about, ecosystem relevant and environmentally friendly developments are going to be increasingly the order of the day. We will see more and more people paying value for such developments. I see the interest rates also correcting themselves in the days ahead. Of course, that's something which we don't dictate. My own views about this are pretty much public and well known. And the government has made so much effort to demonstrate our commitment and through our actions, our confidence in the economy. And that confidence today has permeated into the investor community, into the world community. I do hope in the days to come, with falling inflation and improving investor confidence, we'll also see lower interest rates, which will be a big spur to the housing sector. We in the government are also looking at certain innovative models to encourage affordable housing in the days forward, some of which I had shared with Gitambar when he met me, but till they become policy, I don't think it'll be appropriate for me to share too much in detail. But I do see in the days ahead a huge boom in the affordable housing sector, and along with affordable housing, people will want a complete ecosystem to be addressed in your developments. They will pay value for it. We on our part will ensure a more stable policy framework, a policy framework which makes it easier for you to do your business honestly. We are looking at environmental laws. We are looking at building approval processes to be made more transparent and simple. Gujarat is a shining example where, if some of you have worked, where land prices have remained moderate, approval processes have been very robust and very simple, mostly transparent, and we have been able to bring corruption down or almost eliminate corruption in that state. We have a new government in Maharashtra led by the BJP. The Chief Minister is committed to eliminating corruption in Maharashtra, which has reached phenomenal heights in the last few years. I'm very hopeful and confident that in partnership with all of you, we will be able to achieve our dream and our commitment to the people of housing for all by 2022 and power for all 24/7 by 2019, towards which all of us are working. I hope the deliberations that you have over the next few sessions will help you come out with some credible and actionable plans for us in government and for policy makers to work through and address the problems that you are facing, whether it is environment related, whether it's financing related, whether it's related to approval processes, whether it's related to acquisition of land. We have an open mind and we are wanting to hear from you what we can do. I wish the CREDAI Conclave 2014 all success. I wish all of you greater success in your businesses in the years to come. And I wish you a pleasant stay in Delhi. I believe all of you have come from all over India. I hope you have a wonderful stay in Delhi and wonderful, prosperous new year as we get into 2015. The Prime Minister is in Nepal today, further strengthening the bonds of India with its neighbors. We have President Obama at such short notice agreeing to come to India for the Republic Day parade. We have a leader who has made India proud, not only in India, but in the world stage. And under the dynamic leadership of Shri Narendra Modi, I can assure you, this government means business, and this government will make your business flourish. Thank you.